Choosing the right place on Florida's East Coast can completely change your lifestyle, but the wrong choice can cost you more than you expect, both financially and mentally. Some of these towns look perfect when you visit, but living there full-time is a completely different experience. Today we're counting down the top 10 best East Coast towns to live in Florida, based on real-world livability, cost, lifestyle, safety, and long-term value. More importantly, I'll also break down who each place is actually best for, so you don't just pick what looks good, but what actually fits your life. Let's get started. If your goal is to live near the beach without dealing with high prices or heavy crowds, Palm Coast is one of the first places worth considering. Compared to places like Miami or even parts of South Florida, Palm Coast is noticeably quieter and more affordable. You're not paying premium prices, but you're still just minutes away from the ocean. The lifestyle here is calm, almost slow-paced, which can be a big advantage or a downside depending on your personality. There's less nightlife, fewer major attractions, but in return, you get clean neighborhoods, low traffic, and a more peaceful daily routine. This works best for retirees, remote workers, or families who want stability and space rather than excitement. For many people, the trade-off is worth it, especially if your priority is peace over pressure. Now, if you want something more modern and structured, Port St. Lucie offers a completely different experience. This is one of the fastest-growing cities on Florida's East Coast, and you can feel that growth in its infrastructure. Compared to older coastal towns, everything here feels newer: homes, roads, communities. Unlike Miami or Fort Lauderdale, where prices can quickly get out of control, Port St. Lucie still offers relatively affordable housing while keeping you close to the coast. The big advantage here is balance. You're not directly in a tourist-heavy beach zone, but you're close enough to enjoy it any time. This is ideal for families, first-time homebuyers, and people relocating from expensive states who want a clean, organized environment. In many ways, Port St. Lucie is what people expect Florida to feel like, without the chaos. For people who don't want to sacrifice career opportunities for coastal living, Melbourne stands out in a big way. This isn't just a beach town, it's part of Florida's Space Coast, which means strong job opportunities in aerospace, technology, and defense industries. Compared to smaller beach towns, Melbourne offers something most places don't: real economic stability. You're not just relying on tourism or seasonal income. At the same time, you still get beach access, parks, and a relaxed environment. It's a mix of practical living and lifestyle benefits. Housing costs are moderate, not the cheapest, but far more reasonable than South Florida for what you get. This works best for working professionals, families, and anyone who wants both career and coastal life. For many people, this balance is hard to find elsewhere, and that's exactly why Melbourne keeps growing. Now, if you're looking for something more laid-back and less crowded than major tourist cities, New Smyrna Beach is a strong contender. This town has a very different vibe compared to places like Daytona Beach. It's quieter, more community-focused, and doesn't feel overly commercialized. What really stands out here is the balance between lifestyle and simplicity. You still get beautiful beaches, local restaurants, and a walkable downtown, but without the constant noise and heavy traffic. Compared to South Florida, the cost of living is also more manageable, especially when it comes to housing and daily expenses. This is ideal for retirees, couples, and remote workers who want a relaxed coastal lifestyle without feeling isolated. For many people, New Smyrna Beach feels like what Florida used to be, before everything got overcrowded. If your priority is peace, safety, and a more refined environment, Vero Beach is one of the best options on the East Coast. Unlike high-energy cities like Miami, Vero Beach is intentionally slower and more controlled. There's less chaos, less traffic, and overall a more organized feel. The town is known for clean beaches, well-maintained neighborhoods, and strong healthcare access, which is a major factor for long-term living. Housing costs are not the cheapest, but compared to places like Palm Beach, you're getting a similar level of comfort at a more reasonable price. This works best for retirees, families, and anyone looking for stability over excitement. For many residents, The biggest advantage here is simple: less stress, better quality of life. Now, if you want something with character, not just another modern development, St. Augustine offers a completely different experience. This is the oldest city in the United States, and you can feel that history in its streets, architecture, and overall atmosphere. But here's what makes it interesting. Despite being a tourist destination, many parts of St. Augustine are surprisingly livable and community-oriented. Compared to newer cities like Port St. Lucie, this place feels more cultural and unique. You're not just living near the beach, you're living in a place with identity. Housing prices have increased, but they're still more reasonable than larger coastal cities like Miami. This is ideal for people who value lifestyle, culture, and walkability, especially couples and retirees. For many, St. Augustine isn't just a place to live, it's a place to enjoy daily life. Now, if affordability is your main concern but you still want direct beach access, Daytona Beach deserves serious attention. Let's be honest, Daytona has a reputation, mainly because of tourism and events. But what many people don't realize is that outside those busy zones, there are actually quiet residential areas that are very livable. Compared to most East Coast cities, rent and home prices here are significantly lower. That alone makes it one of the most practical options for budget-conscious buyers and renters. You also get solid access to healthcare, shopping, and nearby cities like Orlando, which adds convenience. This works best for first-time buyers, budget-focused families, and retirees who want beach living without overspending. For many people, Daytona Beach is one of the few places left where affordability and location still meet. If you're looking for a place that feels alive, not just quiet and residential, Delray Beach stands out immediately. This is one of the few East Coast towns where you truly get a mix of beach lifestyle and active city energy. The downtown area is vibrant, walkable, and filled with restaurants, cafes, and nightlife. But what makes Delray different from places like Miami is balance. It's active, but not overwhelming. You still have peaceful residential neighborhoods just minutes away from the action. Compared to many South Florida cities, it feels more controlled and community-oriented, even though it's still lively. Housing costs are higher than average, but for many people, what you get in return, lifestyle, convenience, and atmosphere, makes it worth it. This is ideal for young professionals, couples, and people who want both social life and coastal living. Now, if you want something bigger and more connected, the Fort Lauderdale area offers a strong middle ground between Miami and smaller towns. Think of it as a more livable version of Miami. You still get beaches, nightlife, job opportunities, and modern infrastructure, but with slightly less chaos and, in some areas, better value. The job market here is much stronger than most coastal towns, especially in finance, tourism, and marine industries. That makes it a practical choice, not just a lifestyle decision. Housing prices vary a lot depending on location, but compared to Miami Beach, you can still find areas that offer better balance between cost and quality. This works best for professionals, families, and anyone who wants city-level opportunity without Miami-level pressure. For many people, Fort Lauderdale hits that sweet spot between lifestyle and practicality. Miami Beach takes the #1 spot, not because it's the cheapest or the calmest, but because of what it offers overall. This is where Florida's East Coast lifestyle reaches its peak. You're getting world-class beaches, international culture, career opportunities, entertainment, and global connectivity, all in one place. But let's be real, this isn't for everyone. Compared to almost every other city on this list, Miami Beach is significantly more expensive and more intense. The pace is faster, the competition is higher, and the cost of living can add up quickly. However, for the right person, it delivers something unmatched. This is ideal for high-income professionals, entrepreneurs, and people who want an energetic, fast-paced lifestyle. For many, Miami Beach isn't just a place to live, it's a lifestyle choice. And that wraps up our list of the top 10 best East Coast towns to live in Florida. From peaceful and affordable places like Palm Coast and Daytona Beach to high-energy areas like Fort Lauderdale and Miami Beach, The East Coast offers something for almost every lifestyle. The key is choosing what actually fits your life, not just what looks good on a map. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment which Florida topic you want us to cover next. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.